Kia ora, ko whasmithaho. Ngā mai ki te whare, welcome to the House. In Parliament's debating chamber, Budget Day begins as a surprisingly sedate affair. It makes up for it later, but at the beginning it is both formal and formulaic. The first budget thing that happens, just when you're on tenterhooks for the new plan, is about the old one.
I present the supplementary estimates of appropriations for the Government of New Zealand.
The supplementary estimates are an update on last year's budget. They're about getting permission from the House for spending that has deviated from what was approved in the last budget. And then comes the budget, along with a slew of related material, enough that it sounds like the Minister of Finance is laying out a particularly gloating poker hand.
I present the 2025 budget speech, the Budget at a Glance 2025, the Fiscal Strategy Report 2025, the Child Poverty Report 2025.
The budget, you might say, is a few different things at once. It's a formal bill that has to get the approval of Parliament, allowing the government to spend money in an agreed way. It is a trove of documents associated with that bill that detail the actual spending plan. And, in common parlance at least, it is the budget statement, the speech, like this from Nicola Willis.
This is a responsible budget to secure New Zealand's future. It supports the economic recovery now underway. It also takes a longer-term view, with initiatives to boost future investment, savings and growth. It continues this government's investment in health, in education and law and order.
Budget statements, all of them, are a sales pitch. They do contain a lot of information, but it's carefully chosen information, polished and shown from the best angles. This focus on positivity is universal. Finance ministers tend to avoid listing the cuts they plan and focus instead on new spending, though you will hear talk about savings or possibly reprioritisation. It sounds gentler.
Further savings have been made by closing a number of tagged contingencies and from reviewing the value of money, of grants and funds across government. This is not austerity. In fact, it is what you do to avoid austerity.
Today's budget speech was a little over half an hour long. We can't hope to canvass that, and that half hour can't hope to canvass the vast detail of the budget itself. It doesn't really try, in fact. It's a political pitch, and so, of course, is what happens next. Because the next debater on their feet is the leader of the opposition, Chris Hipkins.
This is the budget that will be remembered as the budget that left women out. This is the budget that said to working Kiwi women, they are worth less. In fact, nearly $3 billion a year less. A budget that says that women are worth less than tax breaks for landlords. A budget that says women are worth less than tax breaks for tobacco companies. Shocking.
It's interesting to listen to all of these speeches in their entirety. Tiring, but interesting. They are often mirror images of each other. For example, you will remember we played a section earlier from Nicola Willis about austerity.
They are choosing austerity and cuts. And austerity is exactly what it is. It failed in the United Kingdom and it will fail here.
The next leader up is the Prime Minister, Christopher Luxon. And again this year, he took the unusual approach of launching not into praise of the new budget, but into the opposition.
Hasn't it been a shambolic year for the Labour Party, hasn't it? And I have to say, has there ever been a leader of the opposition with less substance than Chris Hipkins? Because what you get is a lot of carping, what you get is a lot of points of order, and you get a lot of wishy-washy, don't you?
From here, it goes by size. So the next up was Chloe Swarbrick for the Greens.
They are supposedly saving $200 million by denying money to our tiniest New Zealanders. Coincidentally, they could find $200 million for new offshore gas fields.
And then David Seymour for ACT went on a let me explain approach.
Because when a government spends, it takes from the firms, the farms and the families that make up our great country. Every dollar that the government spends cannot be spent by a family paying their groceries or their energy bill or renovating their house.
In place of an absent Winston Peters, Shane Jones for New Zealand First.
And their right to demand it that we meet the costs of their lifestyles. No, it is not. If you do not change in Kaikahu your lifestyle, the cops are coming to get you. If they take you to court, we'll build another prison for you.
Te Pāti Māori leaders were also absent, and speaking for them was Takuta Ferris.
You see, we have a strong future in this country. The numbers tell us so. Yet no government has had the courage to deliberately and intentionally invest in us.
At this point, the debate paused for the day. It wasn't to rescue the bruised eardrums of MPs, though. It always happens after the leaders contribute, so that the House can move on to passing budget-related legislation under urgency. But more of that tomorrow. You've been listening to The House at Te Whakaranga Koe ki te Whare. This program is produced with funding from Parliament's Office of the Clerk. Matua.